Hello everyone, my name's Katie McBride. I look after the Index series of events across the Middle East. Over the past 6 months, we have been speaking to key members of the industry, finding out a bit more about them. We thought now was probably a really good time to start recording and sharing all the great information that we're finding out about all of you. So today we've got Charles Orchard with us. He is the CEO of Ibal Designs, which is a furniture manufacturer as well as an arts consultancy. He's got over 20 years of experience in the industry, so I'm sure we're going to find out some quite interesting information today. So hi Charles, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure. I mean, you managed to fit me in my busy schedule, so I'm glad to be able to catch me at home as well.
Brilliant.
I'm not that busy.
Well, we'll keep you a bit busier for the next 10 minutes or so. So, Charles, just to start, what does design mean to you?
Well, design, there's very many forms of design. On my side of design, there's furniture design, which is not the same as interior design, and that is coming up with an amazing new products of furniture, new finishes on furniture, new looks on furniture. And designing hopefully something that is long lasting, but also sometimes with a different edge. And then we've got the other side of it, jumping in art. And art isn't about design; it's about art. It's about creativity. So let's call it the design means to me beautiful objects made beautifully.
I think it's a pretty good definition there. So going on to something a bit more about you. What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure. My second guilty pleasure would be collecting shirts. I love collecting shirts. I have about 120 different shirts. I've toned down my shirt for today. So that would be one of my many guilty pleasures. And the other is books. I love books. Now, I'm not being photographed with books behind me, but I collect all types of books. I go on secondhand books, things. And most days I have 1 or 2 books arrive in my house. Especially when I'm locked down, it's fantastic. So secretly buying lots and lots of books, and then I love shirts.
Brilliant. So are you currently reading a book at the moment?
Currently reading 4 different books. I read 4 books once. I have a relatively low attention span, and I'm reading a book on Gordon of Khartoum, who's a fascinating man, which I'm absolutely loving. I'm rereading David Niven's book, which I think is unbelievable. An actor, Moon's a Balloon, fantastic. And Bruce Chatwin, who I'd read all of his books, and I'm just rereading In Patagonia at the moment. Fabulous. I know there's a 4th, but that's a Wilbur Smith. We don't talk about that. It's rather light-hearted.
Okay. All right. So going back to work, who are your typical clients?
Well, I wish there was a typical client. All clients are rather difficult. I work with a lot of brands, but it's the owner of the hotel. So I do a lot of Mandarin projects, a lot of Grand Hyatt projects, but there isn't, because they're from so many different countries. Each client is very different. If I'm doing something like the Mandarin in Saudi Arabia, it's very different from doing a Mandarin in Mexico. So is there a typical client? No. And then there's the owner, and all the owners we know are very, very different. I've got wonderful Russian owners, to people from Saudi Arabia, to Dubai owners, to Indonesian owners, and they ain't the same. So is there a typical client? I don't think there is, actually. I think they're all very, very different. I wish there was a typical client, like a typical person, but there isn't.
It'd be a lot easier if it was. Okay, so what's one music track that's on repeat for you right now?
Well, that would be really upsetting. So hopefully my children couldn't be listening to this, but it would be, I love old musicals. So, and my children detest it. So what I've got at the moment is a string of old musicals playing, and they come in and they turn it off. And what happened the other day, this morning, one of the tracks was on, and it was Calamity Jane, fantastic. It's called Whip Snapping Egg. And that's on, they started singing to it. So even though they've hated it, by listening, having on the whole time, they're actually now beginning to like some of the old musicals that I put on. I'd sort of do it almost out of annoyance for them, and now we've actually all become a bit of a habit. So Calamity Jane, at the moment, we're playing on reel, and all my children and my very cool shaven head son who's 17, who'd rather be a rapper, who started to sing a classic musical.
Well, I'm not going to make you sing it right now, so I'm going to ask the next question. Where do you find your inspiration?
Inspiration. I mean, I've been in Asia now 35 years, says he, talking from Gloucestershire, and inspiration is, I think I've been blessed by being in so many different countries, and the inspiration is a lot from where I've lived. And I was fortunate enough to live in Burma in the very old days. I say old days, in the early 90s when it was closed to the rest of the world. I was Hong Kong in '88. I got into Cambodia. I spent time in Vietnam, and I spent the last 20 years in Bali. And Bali inspiration would be the beauty, the gentleness of the people, the culture, the music. I know it's a bit of a cliche, some of this, but the inspiration is from what's around you and who surrounds you. And that is where I've got my inspiration from. I've been surrounded by very talented people and by beautiful objects, and I collect objects. So I would say, to knock on the note, inspiration is from the different cultures that I've had the fortune to live among.
Fantastic. Okay, well, tell us something else about yourself that there's not many people would know about.
Right, well, what will they not know about me? Well, a heck of a lot, actually. People know very little about me. I publish books as a hobby. And I've published 9 books. And, by chance, I have one at hand. So that's my latest book. Claims plug. I was told I wasn't allowed to plug anything. So here we go. Singapore Data Star. So I love publishing books, which is a sideline. I enjoy adventure, and I took 2 years out and actually was the publisher for the Royal Geographical Society magazine, which I didn't really get paid, and it was all about exploration, adventure, environment. And I think not many people knew that I didn't carry on my work and did 2 years doing one of the most amazing things, which was working for the Royal Geographical Society. And in that, I met many adventurers, explorers, from Thesiger to Ranulph Fiennes to Leakey to Edmund Hillary, and I was very, very blessed. So not many people know that I took 2 years out of my business and went and was the publisher for a magazine.
Brilliant. That's really interesting. All right, so what is the most motivational or inspirational thing that anyone's ever said to you?
Well, I would like to say the most motivational, inspirational thing said to me was by Aristotle, but he was dead. Quality is not an act, it's a habit. And I really believe that. Like, I'm sure someone has actually said that to me, and obviously it wasn't Aristotle. But the other one, and again, it was obviously by a friend of mine, Benjamin Roosevelt, well done is better than well said. Both of those, I think, are just brilliant comments for the business that we're in. And if they'd been around, I'm sure they might have said it to me. If Benjamin Roosevelt was building a Hyatt, he might have said that to me. So I'll have to use that comment.
I imagine he probably would have done. Okay, so from some people's heroes to who is your favourite superhero?
Well, I have to throw this in. It's a military captain, and Captain Tom at the moment, who's my new hero in England.
Yeah.
And you might not. Yeah, this is a 100-year-old war veteran who has just raised £31 million, and he's my new hero. But if it wasn't for that, it would be who would it be? Got Iron Man, wonderful Iron Man, with the actor. Who's the actor in Iron Man?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey. He's come back from nowhere. He was in disgrace. And he's just brilliantly. So Iron Man, he's intelligent, he's bright, got great design. Look at that house.
Yeah.
Staff helping him along. I always have great staff helping me along. Yeah. Good sense of humor, very important. And as an actor, he's also come back. So Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. That's
fantastic. And he's probably got some great shirts as well.
I tell you what he has when he's not wearing his iron suit. Even his iron suit's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's finish off the last question.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge, or maybe the most difficult project that you faced in this industry?
Not to upset people who's listening. What is the most difficult challenge? It is, I think, putting together working from my side, sometimes 3 different bosses. I'm working for an interior designer, and they have their say. I'm working for the owner, and they have their say. And then I'm working for the purchasing company, and they have their say. And they're all trying to put it together. So putting all those 3 together and trying to produce the project on time for the right amount of money with the right creativity.
Yeah.
I think getting your team together and getting an understanding and communication, and just communicating with people. So the most difficult thing, I think, is communicating with everybody. Oh, I'm getting paid on time if anyone's listening. There you go.
I think lots of people in the industry would certainly agree with you on all of those points. So thank you so much. Well, Charles, thank you so much for your time today. It was really interesting to learn a bit more about you. And hopefully that my shirt passes the
No, your shirt doesn't. It's not. It's not.
Today. I'll try and have a better one for next time.
Bright. Nor does mine, by the way. Mine is a rather pale blue, but it's got an interesting pattern. See, look, there it goes.
Oh, that is a good pattern, yeah.
Very beautiful material, very soft cotton.
Yeah.
So it's not just the buttons. If we're going down there, the buttons, and then inside the sleeves, there's a little sort of blue bit, little touches. Lining. Yeah, that's important.
Always good to have a good lining.
But anyway, no, great talk. Do come back and talk to me again. It's been fun for me while I'm at home in England rather than in Bali, as you can see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Charles. Bye-bye.